know, creators that can help market their product or market whatever they are selling. So yeah, so that's just like the brief intro about what I do in my 9 to 5. But in my free periods, I create content. So yeah. All right, so let's jump right into the discussion of today. Today we are talking about this demystifying the design ecosystem. Okay, so the design ecosystem. If we think about the design ecosystem, what comes to your mind? I want this session to be very interactive, so please feel free to respond to some of the questions, or it can be more of a discussion really. So I don't want to be the only one talking. I also want to feel the sense that I people are following me along, and yeah, so don't be scared to talk. There's no right or wrong answer. We are all here to learn, and you don't know what you will say that would also learn from today. But I would like anybody in the audience or anyone listening to just tell me, when you think about the design ecosystem, what comes to your mind? Anything at all. It's not wrong or right answer. It's just like a thought, like what comes to your mind when you think about the design ecosystem. Please kindly unmute if you have like something to say. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer.
Rhyma, someone is answering in the comments.
Oh, I can't hear because I'm currently presenting my screen. So sorry. Who?
Rita says branding and packaging.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Rita. Thank you. Any other person that has like probably a contrary, opinion or something else, apart from what Rita said.
Hello, can
All
you
right,
hear me?
let's. Yeah, sure. Go ahead,
Okay,
please.
so it's about encompassing everything from designer perspective, probably methodologies and resources they use. I mean, in terms of designing, and as well as the broader culture and economic context in which design operates. So that is the way I see it. I don't know if you get my
Awesome.
point.
Awesome. Yes, completely.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. Why? Okay. So let's just go through like the dictionary or definition is design ecosystem refers to the interconnected network of design disciplines and their impact on our world. So when you think about design, if you think deeply about design, design is not just the visual or the digital design that we see every day, maybe through graphics design. Design is everywhere that we are, everything that we do, everything that we use, all the tools that we use, everything has an element of design in it. If, for example, your phone is not the way it is, if they've not considered design while working or building the phone, I don't think we'll be able to use it. If the door, like the door that you open every day when you are going out, if it is not built the way it is built, I don't think you will enjoy using it. So design is not just what we it's not just the visual, like the digital design that we see or we use every day, like graphics design or UI UX design. Design is everywhere. Design is everything, in everything that we do, in all the tools that we use, all the components and things that makes up our day-to-day activity, our day-to-day lives. So in this discussion, talking about how visual representation of design, we're talking about diversity, influence, collaboration, and evolving. So in this 5 things I'll be talking about, for example, in the visual design space, how like the different sector or different types of designs that we have, and how it is very diverse, the influence it has in our lives, how we collaborate, and how it is evolving. So let's move along. So key components of the design ecosystem. So in this case, we are talking about the different types of designs that we have. We have the digital design, industrial design, fashion design, interior design, and architectural design. So when we talk about digital design means that designs that we interact, through, they are not physical, so they are not something that we hold. They are things that we, interact through, like mobile devices or digital displays that we see or we can't hold them, but they are things that we see and we interact with them and we understand what is going on. So under digital design, we have graphics design and we have UI/UX design. So we all know graphic design is just visual communication through images and typography, logos, posters, brochures, like. So basically, graphic design is just a way in which that we communicate certain information to people. It's either through posters, through you know, through even logo and branding. Because when we design logo is meant to communicate something. When you see the brand of a particular company, it's meant to like communicate something to you. Sometimes like you look at it and it gives you an idea of what that company does. Or sometimes when you see like from how something looks, you can tell what brand it is. For example, the Apple brand. When you use Apple phones or when you interact with any Apple product, there's something that already, even without seeing the Apple logo, you can tell that it is Apple, and that is branding and packaging, and that is just unique to to Apple as a brand itself. So when we talk about UI UX design. So we have UI and then we have the UX. So UI means interface and UX means user experience. So designing the look and feel of a digital interface. So basically what UI means is that when you open an app or a website or a software tool, the way the tool looks, the way the app looks, the way you use it, the way it feels, the visual arrangement of the app is what we call the UI. That is the user interface. Well, while the UX is how you interact, how easy it is, how you feel while you are using that particular tool. For example, you are on Twitter and or Instagram and you don't really enjoy it. Okay, we all know, I don't know if it's just me, but I use Instagram a lot. So we all know how Instagram has evolved over the years and new features are being shipped almost all the time. And you know how frustrating and sometimes how annoying it is that you sleep in the night, you wake up back in the morning and you notice that there's a new feature and you have to start learning how to use the app all over again. I remember when they first removed that I don't know if you still remember, but when they first removed the love button that it signify notifications or updates on the app, or it used to be on the bottom navigation bar and now they move it to the top. So sometimes it can be very frustrating because we are so used to it on the bottom navigation bar. Sometimes I mistakenly click on reels while I was trying to go to while my reason for clicking it was to go to notifications, but I've forgotten that they've already. So basically, the user experience is how you feel while using an app, how easy it is. Is it easy for you to solve, to accomplish your goal? Maybe I want to post something and I'm not able to post it because I'm going to the wrong button. So how do I feel at that moment? How easy is it for me to use it? Do I need to start learning how to use the app? Is some of the things that they or techniques that they use in building the app, does it require, is it new, does it require me to start learning how to use it? So those are the things that UX try to solve when it comes to digital tools or digital design basically. um I don't know if I'm able to like clarify, or if I'm able to explain it better. Like, do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Let me know. Also, I also would like to use like a very much layman, explanation when we talk about UX and UI. So let's say, for example, you want to build a house. The UX and the UI is basically how, when the house is being built, how did they plan it? What is the foundation? What are the things that were put in place for the house to look the way it is? And then when we talk about the UI, that's UX, by the way. When we talk about the UI, is how the house looks after you've already built it. What is the interior like? Is it easy for me to access the toilet? What kind of door did they use there? What kind of some of those accessories that was added to the house? You know how does it make me feel as a person? Do I really like the house? So when you think about design or digital design, it's just almost the same way it is in the real world. It's just like it's digital, basically. So so the next design that we're going to be talking about is industrial design. So industrial design basically means that designing consumer products for functionality and aesthetics. So when we think about industrial design, they are designs that have gone through a certain process, or they are mostly physical design, physical things that we use in our day-to-day activities, like our phone, like the iron, like the bulb, your bicycle, even your car. Your car is a series of different industrial designs, because different industrial components are coupled together to make up a car. So basically, when we talk about industrial design, they are just physical things that we use, that has gone through fabrication, different kind of processes to actually achieve, to actually now come in the way they do. For example, when we think about iron, um iron is what we use to iron clothes, right? Can you see the evolution of how iron used to look and what it looks now? So if you can see, this is what they use back in the days. Probably what they put this on, probably fire or something, and then they use it to iron. And nowadays we have electric iron, where we can easily just plug to the socket, and then we can iron our clothes and so on. So that's industrial design for you. And point I'm trying to make here is that don't limit yourself just to the visual aspect or digital aspect of design. Design is so broad and huge that we can't um we can't overlook the importance it has in our day-to-day lives and how we interact with it. When you start seeing design in everything you do, it start making sense to you. In fact, when you do digital design and you apply shadows to, like, something, certain elements, the introduction of shadow was gotten from how it is in the real life. When you shine light on a particular object, the wear of it, how the shadow appears, or the way we see shadow when we put something down, and then light is shining directly to one aspect of it, and then the shadow is casted on one aspect. It's through the study of how it works in the physical world, it was now introduced to the digital world, and it now makes sense. So yeah, so just try to understand that design is in every aspect of our life, and we cannot just limit ourselves to digital design alone. So let's talk about fashion design now. We all know fashion, and when we think about fashion design, we're thinking about some people that sew clothes, people that sew clothes. But it's not just only about that. Even building of the clothes itself, like how the clothes is being made, how the fabric is being made, is an aspect of design. How the pattern I can see on this clothes. Don't you, like, for me, like, sorry, for me, I ask myself, eh, eh, I ask myself sometimes, how, in my imagination, how did they even think about this pattern? How did they even, think that they should make it? How does it even work? How did they even make it? So those are the things that it is all design. Like, it is all design. There's a thought process behind it. It's not just when the person that is sewing the design, that is sewing the clothes. That's not the only thing that fashion design entails. It entails even the accessories that we use, the watch that we use, the glasses that we had to the clothes. And fashion design also encompasses people that style it, people that put pieces together to make sense. They tell you that, okay, wear this boot on this trouser, it will look so nice. Wear this suit on this, jacket, it will look so nice. So basically, like I said, design is not just even the physical part. It could also be, putting things together and just making it make sense. So it's all about being creative and just doing things out of the ordinary. And let's go to the next one before I say what I want to say. We have interior design. Interior design is, how you enhance the interior space or functionality and ambience of a particular place, or building or environment that you have. The way an environment is built determines the way we interact with it. Did you know that the way your room is designed, or the way your room looks or feels, determines how you feel about where you are. Sometimes when you enter a certain place, it does give you this fresh feeling in your body. Like, it just motivates you, or it gingers you up that you want to do something. Or sometimes when a room is painted in certain color, it has effect on your emotion and how you feel as a person. And that is design. That is basically what design is all about. It makes you feel something. It makes you, sometimes you see a room and you understand what it's supposed to look like, or what the person that designed it was trying to communicate. Like, it communicates something to you. You go to a restaurant or you go to an office, and it just give you this relaxed feeling, that feeling that you're at home. So that is basically design. And whoever designed those spaces have an idea or have a goal that they want to achieve. They want you to feel some certain way. So when people, the offices that are, or spaces that are being built these days, especially offices, they make it feel like home. They want you to be relaxed, and also they want you to get work done. So they want you to feel like you're in your comfort zone while you're also getting work done. So yeah. So like I said, design can be, can be applied to any aspect of our life. So let's talk about architectural design. I just think about how, when I see some certain buildings, and what comes to my mind, how did they even do it? Like, how did they, when you look at this and look at this and look at this is a building. Like, how did they think about it? Just one thing I want you to realize when you think about these things, or when you ask yourself this question, is that there is a phase where they were just planning the design. There was this, you know there's a specific time when it was just in the design phase, that it was just a piece of drawing or piece of sketch or an idea that comes to somebody's head, and then they decide to make it a visual, way, make it visual. So let's say designing buildings and structure, combining aesthetics, safety, and functionality. So let's not also forget the functionality that comes. It's not just design, is not just how it looks. Sometimes something might look so good, but it is useless. Do you get? For example, imagine if the way this this staircase, the way it is designed, imagine if there was no railing, or there was no support on the edge, and every time you try to climb, you fall. Then, even though it would look very beautiful, but it will not still be useful, it will not be safe. So design is not just about what it looks like. It can be aesthetically pleasing, but it might not be functional. And that's something that is also that applies to not just not just digital products, but also physical products too. So something can look so nice, but it might not be useful. So never forget that. Um, so yeah. So I'll just say that design ecosystem is a diverse space with a combination of overlapping disciplines with similar processes. I just want to also establish that the design ecosystem is so intertwined together that even the processes are almost the same. When we talk about the similarities in design, in the different design, design professions that we have, or disciplines that we have, almost every time when we think about design is always solving a problem. So before we can even go jump into maybe you're sketching, there has to be a problem that you're trying to solve. When we think about digital tools of building a product like UI/UX product, you're trying to build a product that is solving a problem for certain people. So there's always a problem that we are trying to solve before we actually even start designing. So the root of every design in most cases is a problem that we want to solve. So, and apart from that, there's also the design thinking aspect to every kind of design. When we talk about design thinking, we are talking about the user-centered approach to solving a problem. So let's say, for example, you discover that maybe you are a student, and then you discover that in your school it is very difficult for you to get accommodation, or get hostels, and you thought of, okay, why not you know, creating an app that where meet like different landlords and you tell them to list their properties on your app, so that students can easily access, they can easily see what they want to order, or like they can easily get access, properties without, leaving their house, without stressing, without going through unnecessary stress. We all know how difficult it is to actually get, rent an apartment, especially in Lagos or different part of the world. So you imagine you thinking about such solution and it actually solves your problem. I mean, you can also, if you use Airbnb is still one of those products that still blows my mind on how, the thought process was and how they were able to come up with the idea of, okay, people are out there that they want to just, rent out the apartment for some days to people, and then you get paid. Like, it's just so beautiful, and that's like the design thinking about it. So apart from when you understand the problem you're trying to solve, it's so easy to now apply design thinking of, okay, who are the users, how do we solve this problem, how do, you know what is the solution that we need to prefer. So like I mentioned the other time, there's also always functionality at the end of every design process. The design has to be functional. It has to be doing something. If it's not doing that thing, then it is not functional. If it's not doing or solving, if you are not achieving the goal of why that design is made, then it is actually not, it's not a functional design. So whether it is in, whether we are talking about fashion design, we're talking about interior design, architectural design, or even digital design, UI UX. If you design a poster and what you're trying to communicate people cannot understand, then that design or that poster is not functional. So always keep that in mind. So we have also tools that we use for, design, both digital design, interior design, all kinds of design. So we have the Adobe suite. I'm sure we all know the Adobe Creative Suite. Well, I'm talking about, Photoshop, AI, Adobe Illustrator. We are talking about Adobe XD. I don't know if it's still in existence, but all the different type of Adobe suites that we have. We have Sketch, Figma for, UI UX design, and even for graphic design. I know people use it for, posters and social media, social media design. We have AutoCAD that they use for, I'm not sure, they use for industrial design, Blender for 3D design, 3D modeling. I actually have a friend that, did the 3D modeling of his workspace. Like, he designed the workspace through using Blender, and it was able to now bring that design into life. So it was able to visualize what the room would look like after, putting together, designing or putting together the different gadgets and components that would require to make it a workspace. So as a designer, just be thinking about ways in which you can not just, don't be too rigid on, okay, I just want to do UI UX design. Yes, how do you apply other aspects of design into your day-to-day life? It's possible that you're a fashion designer and you're also interested in illustration or graphic design. How do you put it together? How do you add these two together to make something new? So that's what design is, because design itself has a root. Like, everything that encompasses design is always, they are always intertwined together, they are related. Then when we talk about traditional tools, we are talking about sketchbook, prototyping materials, and the likes. So the impact of design shapes our world. It shapes the functionality and aesthetics of the product and space we encounter every day. Like I mentioned, all the tools, all the things that we use, they went through the, process of design. Design is the root of most of them, or if not everything. So before they got, people has a popular saying of that God is a designer, because when we think about how our body function, you think about the fact that, okay, it was designed certain way for it to function certain way. So yeah, so design is in every aspect of our lives, no matter how small you think it is there. Any tool, anything that you use or interact with daily, it has gone through the phase of design. Design enhance UX. basically when we design stuff, it makes us understand, okay, this is how it works. Is it easy for humans to use if we do it this way? Because we have the initial phase of design before we even build. It's just like in UX, before you build anything, or before the developer build anything, it goes through the phase of design. And that's because design is just like a testing phase where you actually visualize what you are trying to do and what you're trying to build and how it would look in the real world before you now putting together, putting together components that will now make up, that particular that particular design or whatever you're trying to do. Let's say you're trying to build an iron. Before an iron is actually being built or before it's something that you can carry around, it has gone through the phase of maybe design using maybe AutoCAD or even 3D modeling, just to visualize how it will look, how easy will it be for people to carry it about? Is it going to be light or soft? All those things, they are also part of and different simple elements of design. So it enhance the UX because design is always like a testing phase that makes you understand, okay, this is what we are trying to do. Will this thing solve our problem? How do we make it better? If after testing and we discover that it doesn't solve the problem. Design also enhance economic growth. Somebody was talking, and when I asked about the design ecosystem, someone talked about the business aspect and also the economic impact it has in our lives. Not only because it helps a particular country, or it helps like the human life. It just improve the human life basically. So it also provide job for people, like for example a designer, a product designer, a you know a fashion designer. It provides job opportunities, and which is part of economic growth of maybe a country as a whole, or even the whole world. Then when we talk about innovation, because design is so intertwined, it's so easy that you mix two type of design together and you come up with something new and something different. So that's how we have like the different type of design. We have interaction design. When we talk about digital or UI UX design, we have interaction design, we have user research, we have different aspects of design basically. But because it is a combination of different parts, it is so easy to innovate and come up with something new and something more innovative. So the design ecosystem is ever evolving, and professionals and design enthusiasts must stay updated about new design trends through online courses, like what Jupiter is doing, workshop, design communities. Just make sure that as a designer, you are not left behind. You are not just too rigid on the fact that, oh, I need to use only Figma to design. What if there are other tools that you can also use to design? So be conversant with what is trending, what people are using, what is going on. Try to always update your skill. I'm not saying that everybody has to go into like architectural design or interior design, but find that middle ground where both can be applied. You can apply the digital design into architectural design, and it would really make sense. I have a friend that is an interior designer and is also a product designer, and if you see the spaces that he designs, they are like beautiful because of the experience of having knowing how to design, do UI UX design. He can easily put a mood board together on his Figma and then try to put pieces together and make it make sense. So those are the things that we're talking about when we talk about trying to update yourself. As a designer, you are forever learning because new things are always going to be popping up. So is it that you are joining online courses, or you're taking online courses, you're going to workshops, you are attending design communities, meetups, and all those things. Those are the things that will help enhance your skill as a designer and as a creative person. So in conclusion, the design ecosystem shapes our daily experience and through product spaces and digital interface. Embracing its diversity enriches our understanding of the design's impact on our lives. So when you start questioning how certain things are done, and you start doing your research, you start making sense of how the whole world revolves around design, and with how, as a designer, you cannot be jobless. How do I put it? You are always in, like, there will always be need for you. this whole thing about AI, that AI will take over the world and then there will not be jobs. They are just it's not possible. As a designer, you are forever needed, because anything new or anything people are using in this world that is currently in vogue has gone through the process of design, and there will always be need for designers. So thank you. Like I said, this session, I didn't know it was supposed to be specific on UI UX design. So, but when we talk about that diversifying, the design industry or the design ecosystem, I'm talking about the general design of of how general design works and how it is intertwined together, how you can mix two design types together and come up with something new, something unique. um so yeah, and I remember Elizabeth asking about or saying something about me sharing, how I got started in the design industry and stuff. I don't know if time still permits me to still share, or we are good right now.
Hi, Raimas. Thank you so much. That was very insightful. Yeah, basically you can do that, and then I'll just take them on how to get started. If UI UX design is something that interests them, then take questions from there. So you can
Okay.
just, yeah, give tips for people
Awesome.
looking to get started. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so for me, when I got started as a designer, I didn't do it because I didn't even know there was anything called UI UX design. I was just lucky that I'm always at the right time, at the right place, at the right people, almost all the time. So I studied computer engineering in school, and because of that, I've always known that I want to do anything that is relating to tech. When I was in secondary school, it was not an easy decision to finally come to, because throughout my whole stay in school, in secondary school, I'm literally always changing occupation every 20 business days, every week. The first time when I know that I wanted to go into science class, so I went to science class. But while I was at science class, I was thinking of becoming a surgeon, because after watching a movie, I watch a lot of movies. So I mentioned something about being a K drama fan. There was this Limeo movie called Fate, yeah, back in probably 2012 or something. And there was something about surgeon and all, and medicine, and that got me so interested in it. So I decided that was what made me decide that okay, I will go into science class. I knew that probably I'm not as smart to go into medicine, but something that just made me decide that okay, I'm doing science. And then later on, after that, my dad is a pharmacist. So I was thinking that my dad has a lot of books that will inherit a lot of things from him. Later I decided that let me do pharmacy, since I'm still in science class, everything is still the same thing until when you get to university. I was thinking that, okay, maybe I should become a pharmacist. So it was later when I was about to apply for JAM that I knew that I cannot do pharmacy again. I'm not really too good in biology. I'm not also very good in physics, but I know that I like mathematics and calculation. So I was like, okay, let me do. So I now watched at the time. I now watched a movie called Harrow. I've said this story so many times. If you follow me, you probably have heard it somewhere. So I watched a movie called Harrow, and then there's this lady in the movie that is a tech enthusiast. She's like the person that is always the IT person that will always be hacking people's phone. Harry is a superhero movie. So Felicity is somebody that is always behind laptop that will be hacking people's phone, just that will be helping with whatever operation that is going on. So that made me say, okay, I want to go into tech. I want to be an hacker. So I decided that okay, I told my mom that when I was registering, I want to go for computer science. And my mom was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That computer science, that why not go for computer engineering? So at the time, I went to Unilorin, by the way. So at the time, computer engineering is actually um a new a new course in Unilorin. So they just have like one set. So my set was the second set in engineering at the time. So they were looking for students. So my lesson teacher at the time was the SU president in engineering. So he told me that, okay, go for computer engineering, and you have a very great, what's it called, jam score. So that's how I basically went to, into engineering, and I got my admission computer engineering, and I started. So when we started 100 level, we've not started doing anything relating to, coding. I didn't even know there's anything called coding, but I just know that there's something that the hack, and it will be in black screen, and then there'll be like text and everything. So I didn't I was not really feeling what they are teaching us in school, because, well, the reason why I actually went into it was, because I want to become a you know become an arcan. Or so later on, there was something that, um there was like a sprint, that was not sprint, but something was how do I put it? A workshop was organized by Andela. Andela came to our school, and then a workshop was organized by them. And fortunately for me, I went, or I got invited. No, I didn't get invited, but my one of my friends said she was going. So I said, okay, let me follow you. So I followed them, and that was the first time I would ever see, like, hear something about. So they said we are going to have a sprint that day. That was the first time I'm hearing anything sprint. I did not understand what do they mean by sprint. So they grouped us. They said we'll be solving a problem. They said the problem, we don't need to build anything. We are not coding. They are just going to share an idea with us, and then would they grouped everybody that came that day to the workshop in different groups, and then they gave us the problem, and then we're supposed to come up with solutions on how to solve the problem. That's how I met some, coders, people that front end developers and all. And back then, so one of the persons in our group, even though my group was the last, like, we came last in the competition. And I met someone that now gave me tutorials on how to code. I don't know if you know Bucky Roberts tutorials on YouTube. Back in the days, he was like a genius when it comes to front end development and so on. So I got those videos, and that was how my career started. So I started out as a front end developer. I was learning how to code. During my IT, I went to stay with my cousin. That my cousin is a graphic designer at the time. So when we sit down at the dining table, I'll be coding, he will be designing. So I was always impressed about how he does, like, how he's always designing and coming up with very nice, creative, designs. So I decided that, okay, you know what, I want to learn this thing. So I told him to teach me. But my cousin is a terrible teacher. He's not good at teaching at all. So he could not, like, when you come up with something and you cannot explain how you did it. So that was how it was for me. So I ended up, going online, going to YouTube to check how to design. And another thing, I noticed he was making money from it. Imagine we were in 300 level, and my cousin is always making, clients will give him work to do, and then we design, and then they will give him money. So I mean, at the time, the money was, impressive, and I want to be at that stage where I can give something of value and somebody will pay me for it. Do you get? So I started doing my research on YouTube, started watching video tutorials on how to use Photoshop and everything. Eventually, I learned to an extent. I won't say I was good at it, but I learned to an extent where I also started getting 1,000, 2,000 for logo, for poster and all. I even did free designs for my friends that have businesses. So one that is a makeup artist, which was my roommate. Second one was also one of these all these people that organize parties and all. So an event planner, yeah. So that was how my career started as a designer. And eventually, when I was finally in my final year, you know I dabbled into UI UX design after my friend organized a workshop, and he was looking for people to volunteer to help him out to organize the workshop. That my friend was a UI UX designer at the time. And yeah, so I went for that workshop. I helped, giving refreshments, checking people's ID, or what the registration, to see if they register for this for that class. And yeah, and that was how I got started basically. And to cut my long story short, because I know I've